we often overestimated the impact of technology in the short run, but most of the times we underestimate the impact on the long run. And that puts us in a very difficult position because we are not able to gauge what it can do for us, and we lose what otherwise would give us a very strong leverage.
That is what makes AI more interesting for smaller businesses. But the real question isn't how. The real question is why. And to understand that some more, we'll have to understand how entrepreneurship has changed in the past several years.
10 years before, you had to source the product, then probably build a website, have e-commerce functionalities in it, drive people to your website and hope that some of them will buy the product. Now, you have to just source the product and go to Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups to start selling you.
Everything was guesswork, basically. But without that, you cannot get money from the bank. But nowadays, it's like a one-page business plan, which you can create. You can see total full view of your business, what you're going to do, who is your customer, what is your segment. That is one of the biggest change which comes up.
2012, I started my first business. And I and my co-founder spent 3 days just to finalize the name of my business. And then we went to a designer and told the designer, hey, we want a logo for this. We spent another $200 and 7 days in designing a logo.
Earlier, the concept was create something and people will come to you. But nowadays, we are saying whether the product is required in the market and then you build it.
With the technology, what has changed is that back-end work has become easier. So you can do things faster, you can produce them at scale, you can still maintain the quality. So that is not a bigger problem anymore. Now the bigger problem is how do you get it to the market? How do you get it to your customers? Who are your customers and who is your audience?
Thinking 10 years back and how you are doing businesses today is there's a massive gap in the two ways of thinking.
Today is probably the day where it's been the slowest day of your life. The future is only going to be faster.
So nowadays what will happen is, like, first of all, we look into it, launching is afterwards. So it is the experiment which you are doing. And for experiment, not necessarily you are spending money in advance. Or if you are spending very little bit amount of it.
So being an entrepreneur in 2024 and beyond is totally different. Even from being an entrepreneur, I would say, not even 5 years or 10 years ago, but very different from 2 years ago.
The difference is how people used to focus more on the product or the managing of the back end versus the shift now is to front end, distribution, acquiring customers, building a market and audience for that.
And that's because obviously we now have AI and generative AI.
This changes things in many ways. The major difference to note here is that earlier entrepreneurs focused on making a product, but now establishing their market has taken that spot. Information is no longer a problem.
Entrepreneurs these days, we are surrounded by information from all over the place. So you need to be very efficient in filtering the information that is relevant for you, to be able to target your customers effectively, to identify the best distribution channels, the best pricing model, the best partners.
Earlier, we used to focus more on the non-productive things more than I think what we do now. So I would not spend another 3 days in deciding a logo or a brand name. I would just start with something, test the market quickly. So earlier there was the concept of doing work, which was actually not work.
Doing work, which isn't actually work. That's a very interesting angle. You may have seen that most businesses frequently fall into this trap.
And that's like a game of resilience. It is, if you're not resilient these days, if you're not willing to take it a bit more to the next level, you're going to be dead very soon in terms of the market.
You just get to your customers very quickly. The process is much more efficient. You get distribution and visibility very fast now as compared to 10 years ago. So I think we are focusing now more on customers and focusing on the activities which generate revenue for your business.
Think about the transcript. If you are having some meeting, how much time you are spending on capturing those notes and then sending it. Now those things AI can do automatically. You have immediately saved that 1 or 2 hours of time.
Small businesses, they have limited resources, they have limited capacity, they have small budget. They need to fail fast, and they need to learn quick, and they need to penetrate new markets, or innovate and be agile. They have to be smart in their approach. Once they are penetrating a new market, there are so many tools that they can leverage, right? And AI is one of them.
So right now, there are various AI tools which are fragmented, and then they do not do one single task for you completely. You have to fill in the blanks for them. When I decided to start my latest project, I went to ChatGPT. I told it what was the product I'm building, what it is going to do, and asked it for suggestions of names. And it just came back with 10 suggestions. I selected one and named my business Kiki Selective. I decided that the mascot will be a koala. And then I asked it to generate an image, a logo for it with a koala, and it did that in 10 minutes. So imagine the time saving that I did, $200 saved, and probably 7 days worth of effort saved just in deciding the name and logo. And that's how starting a business or being an entrepreneur in 2024 is much different than it was a decade ago.
While AI has changed the game for many businesses, the question is, do you have to use AI?
Yes and no, because it does give you a leverage, but using it randomly is probably going to do more harm than good. So using technology is the right thing to do, but we have to really be careful about where you're going to put that to use.
Consider plotting your business activities based on transaction volume and value creation. Activities that are of high value but low volume should always be done by humans. You should leverage technology where value needs to be delivered at scale. And for the other two scenarios, choices are quite simple.
If we are not aware of the adoption of a new technology and what comes with the risk that comes with it, then we are going to be missing a big part of the playbook.
Think about a building and there is a small door, back door, which is open. And if you are not, so anybody can come in using that back door.
So for example, if I want to do competitor analysis and my competitor has actually inadvertently uploaded their information to ChatGPT to do their analysis, I might get access to their information. So that's how small businesses have to be mindful what information to upload and then what information to not upload there.
If you are uploading data in your in the environment, this data might be used for something else. So for example, if you are creating an IP, an intellectual property, or if you are sharing sensitive information, or if you are sharing a private information or personal information, this data is going to be shared.
Sharing data on AI, it is the same type of thing. While you have given, you might have completely forgot about it, but the AI have actually captured that information and they can use of it into their language model to understand what needs to be done.
Think about trade secrets, think about IP, intellectual property, think about trademarks, think about copyrights. So all of these elements, if any business, they don't want to think about it, someone else might be using your idea, someone else might be using your data, someone else might be using your prototype. So be vigilant and do your due diligence.
If you would have asked me maybe 10 years ago whether technology is differentiated or not, answer would have been yes.
But nowadays, technology is not a differentiator. It is a necessity. However, how you use technology can turn it into a key differentiator for your business.
So market awareness, technology awareness, business awareness, all of these awareness elements, you have to be you have to consider them in your journey. And I always say that it's part of your maturity as well.
It is a competitive disadvantage of not using AI. The productivity boost that we will get from it is huge to ignore, and I think it will just be the next internet, right? 20, 25 years ago, internet was a new thing, and people were skeptical of going on internet. and gradually they realize there's no option to it.
More time we save, the more time we can make use of that time to find new customer or serve our customers.
Just be careful and do your due diligence to make sure that you are doing the right choices. The AI will help you from a scaling point of view, will help you to adapt, will help you to create new interfaces.
The more you are clearer about what you want, it becomes easier for you to get the output of the AI. It depends what you want to do with your time.
If you are not using AI, you are missing a huge part.
Every new technology comes with its own issues and the need for due diligence. It means that when businesses are adopting a new technology, if they do not understand the outcome of its adoption, they will miss a big part of this.
In the digital transformation, thinking traditionally, you will be disrupted.
The biggest problem with the businesses is that they know something is happening. They know there are changes coming. They do know the technology is evolving. But there is also a lot of red herring going around, like what things are possible and what is not possible, or what technology can do and cannot do. And a lot of that goes lost in translation. So having right awareness, the information coming from right sources definitely can put these people in right direction.
And awareness is a big element to the success.
AI and AI tools are here to support your business model. So what are the areas of your business that are critical? That's the first thing to identify, because that's where AI can help you the most.
See, the basics of business will remain the same. Are you focusing on your customers and are you focusing on revenue generating activities? Those will remain the same. What AI will do is help you find more time for these activities.
Only by innovating and always thinking about the next iteration of your product and your service is going to be the determining factor for you to stay ahead of the competition.
What is happening is not everybody is on top of whatever the latest thing coming out. So still you have got, if you're making use of AI, you are having an upper hand on the people who are not using it.
Most of the time, the problem with many entrepreneurs is that they don't have leverage. And even if they do have some, they often use it in the wrong place, which means even if you get leverage using technology like AI, the outcome will depend on where and how you use it.
If suppose everybody come on the same platform, then it becomes what is your USP? What is your unique thing which you are adding?
One thing that I have experienced was building a personal brand makes a huge difference to your business. When people start seeing you online, they automatically start trusting you more. So building a personal brand can be a good marketing strategy in itself for your business. I think all small business owners should do that.
How you are adding that human touch on your services or on your product, what you are selling, that becomes quite important.
Earlier, there was the knowledge economy. Like, I know something which others don't know, so I'm doing good business. When information becomes, it gets democratized, everybody knows pretty much everything. How do I differentiate?
Better positioning is going to change the game for you. Tools are democratized, you are not.
Look at automating the things that are taking time. Non-core activities. What are those? And just try to find the right tools to do that.
If there is no leads or no prospects, you don't have a customers. So I will be spending more time on finding it out, how to get the leads coming in.
So when things are changing constantly, the only thing that you need to focus on is what is not changing.
See technology as a support tool to your business, not an end to itself. Look at your business model, see where technology can help you.
In the world of AI, the biggest leverage is not in the technology itself. It's all about putting a face to the business, and that face is you.